10 times America almost didn't happen. In 1776, 13 colonies broke away from Britain. Britain was the strongest country on earth. Bold move, like quitting your job by flipping the table. They fought a war. They won. But here's the part nobody tells you. Winning the war was the easy part. The hard part came after. 13 brand new states had to build a government from scratch. No instructions, no example to copy, no adult in charge. It was the biggest group project in history. And like every group project, somebody did all the work, somebody argued about everything, and somebody didn't pay. Here are 10 times it almost fell apart. Number 10, the first try. The Articles of Confederation. That's a big name for a simple thing. It was America's first plan for government, America's first rule book. Here's the problem. The states had just fought a war against a king. They were scared of kings. They were scared of anyone with a fancy chair. So they made a government with almost no power. On purpose. No president, no national courts, just one Congress where every state got one vote. Think about it like this. They were so scared of a bully that they built a government too weak to bully anyone, but it was also too weak to do anything else. It was a guard dog with no teeth and no bark, basically a pillow with a name tag. It even took 4 years just to get all 13 states to say yes to the plan. 4 years to agree on a rule book whose main rule was, let's not do much. Number 9, no money. The government was broke. Not skip the fries broke. Broke. The war cost a ton of money. Congress borrowed it. Now the war was over and the bill came due. Congress reached into its pocket and found a button and some lint. Why? Because under the Articles, Congress could not collect taxes. At all. Not allowed. The only way to get money was to ask the states nicely. The states could just say no, and they did, every time. The states left Congress on red. Imagine running a whole country on a tip jar. That was the plan. Same thing with the army. Congress could declare a war, but it could not raise soldiers to fight one. It could start the fight. It just couldn't show up to it. That's the friend who says, hold me back, and then leaves. Number 8, states fighting states. The states started treating each other like enemies. Under the Articles, there was no national rule for trade, so each state made its own rules. States put taxes on goods coming from other states. New York taxed New Jersey, neighbors taxing neighbors. Imagine charging your own brother $5 to borrow the ketchup. These were supposed to be the United States. Instead, it was 13 little countries in a trench coat, pretending to be one country. Trade slowed down. States got angry at each other, and nobody could stop it. There was no referee. They had built a referee with no whistle, on purpose. He just stood there, watching, disappointed. Number 7, Shays Rebellion. The wake-up call. In the 1780s, times got hard. Farmers were not getting paid much for their crops. They could not pay their debts. They could not pay their taxes. So in Massachusetts, courts started taking their farms away. A lot of these farmers were war veterans. They fought for this country. Now they were losing everything. They were not happy. You would not be happy either. So in 1786, a farmer named Daniel Shays got angry. He led a group of armed farmers to shut down the courts. His logic was simple. If the courts can't open, the courts can't take your farm. Honestly, hard to argue with the math. This was called Shays Rebellion. Here's the scary part. The national government could not stop it. No army, no money to make one. The most powerful thing Congress could do was write a strongly worded letter. Massachusetts had to send its own state troops to end it. The message was loud and clear. If one angry farmer can do this, and the government can only watch, then this is not really a government. It's a group chat with bad Wi-Fi. Number 6, the one thing that worked, the Northwest Ordinance. Okay, to be fair, the weak government did get one thing right. 1. The country owned a huge piece of land in the Midwest. It was called the Northwest Territory. Congress made a smart plan for it. The plan said, here is how a territory becomes a state. Step 1, get 5,000 free men living there. Now you get your own little government. Step 2, get 60,000 people. Now you can write a constitution and become a real state. It was literally leveling up in a video game. Collect enough people, unlock statehood. Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin, all of them speed ran this. The law also banned slavery in that territory, and it set up public schools. So the rule book wasn't all bad. It was just funny that the system for adding new states worked great, while the states they already had were busy charging each other for catch-up. Number 5, the meeting that went off script, the Constitutional Convention. By 1787, almost everyone agreed. The Articles were broken. So the states sent delegates, that means representatives, to a big meeting in Philadelphia. Their job was simple: fix the Articles, patch it up, just some repairs, small stuff. The delegates got in the room. They looked at the Articles. They looked at each other, and they said, "Nah, we're not fixing this. We're starting over." They threw out the whole thing and secretly wrote a brand new plan. That plan is the United States Constitution. That's like hiring a guy to fix your sink, and you come home and your house is gone. There's a new house. It's nicer. You weren't asked. Except this time, it actually worked out. We still live in that house today. Number 4, big states versus small states, the big fight. The delegates agreed the old plan was bad, but they could not agree on the new one. The big states wanted votes in Congress based on population. More people, more votes. Small states said no way. We would always lose. They wanted every state equal. One state, one vote. They argued all summer. In Philadelphia, in July, in wool coats, no air conditioning, no deodorant. Then a man named Roger Sherman offered a deal. Why not both? Make 2 houses of Congress. The House of Representatives, based on population. Big states are happy. The Senate, every state gets exactly 2 senators. Small states are happy. They called it the Great Compromise. A compromise is when both sides give a little to make a deal. Like when you and your brother split the last slice of pizza and you both still complain. That deal is still how Congress works right now, today. Number 3, the price of union, the slavery deal. And here the story stops being funny, because the next deal was wrong, and we need to say it plainly. Southern states made money from slavery. They were afraid the North would end it. South Carolina and Georgia said, protect slavery or we walk out. So the delegates made a deal called the 3/5 clause. It counted each enslaved person as 3/5 of a person. Not to give them rights. They got 0 rights. It was only to give Southern states more seats in Congress. The Constitution also said that if an enslaved person escaped to a free state, they had to be sent back. Some delegates from the North wanted to ban slavery everywhere. Instead, slavery got protected. That was the price of keeping the country together. The country paid for that deal later. The price was the Civil War. Number 2, the big debate. Yes or no? Writing the Constitution did not make it the law. 9 of the 13 states had to ratify it. Ratify means to officially approve, to say yes. The country split into 2 teams. Team 1, the Federalists. They said yes to the Constitution. They wanted a strong national government. Madison, Hamilton, and Jay wrote newspaper essays explaining why. Those essays are called the Federalist Papers. Yes, that Hamilton, the one from the musical. He never stopped writing, ever. Team 2, the Anti-Federalists. They said no. They thought the new government was too strong, too much like a king. They worried it would crush the states and take away people's freedoms. Both teams made good points. This was basically the first American comment section. But by June 1788, 9 states said yes. The Constitution became the law of the land. Number 1, the Bill of Rights, the final piece. The Anti-Federalists had one argument that was really hard to beat. They asked, where is the list of our rights? The Constitution did not have one. Awkward. So the Federalists made a promise. Vote yes now, and we will add a list of rights right away. And here's the shocking part. A politician made a promise and kept it. Write that date down. Madison wrote the list. In 1791, it became official. The first 10 amendments. We call them the Bill of Rights. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, the right to a fair trial. And here's the best part. The team that lost the debate gave us the Bill of Rights. Their best idea was so good, the winners had to use it. So that's the story. A government built too weak. A rebellion that proved it. A repair job that turned into a total rebuild. And it's still running today, almost 250 years later. Not bad for a group project where nobody could agree on anything. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.